Christmas. It's a very exciting day. We are on to the next new exciting phase in our campaign to shake up Springfield and bring back Illinois. We've been doing a thorough search over the last few months, interviewing many candidates. We wanted to find a superstar to be Lieutenant Governor in Illinois. We wanted to find someone who is tenacious, who knows how to work hard and drive to overcome obstacles and get things done. Someone who has the talent and the guts to take on special interest groups that control Springfield today. Someone who's passionate about our beliefs, our values, and about what it's going to take to turn the state around. And we found that in Evelyn Sanguinetti. It's an honor for me to introduce her to you today. Evelyn is living, she has lived the American dream. And she wants to fight so everyone in Illinois has that same opportunity to achieve the American dream as well. And her life story, her personal experience, is an inspiration for everyone in our state. She knows firsthand how important it is that we turn around our failing schools, that we have wonderful schools in every school district, so each of our children, each of our young people has the opportunity for a terrific future. She also knows firsthand how critical it is that we have a booming economy creating jobs everywhere in our state, so everyone who wants to work has multiple job opportunities to try to take advantage of. It's a critical priority. And she knows and understands deeply in her heart what it's going to take to shake up Springfield, take on the special interests, and turn the government around so it's run for the benefit of all the citizens of our state. So it's an honor for me to be with Evelyn today. We're traveling the state. We've been on a tour. We've been in Rockford. We were in Chicago. We were in Marion. We're on our way to Peoria. And we'll be on the road every day, 7 days a week, meeting the voters of our state, talking about our challenges and our opportunities. It's great to be with you here today. Evelyn's going to be a great partner for me in taking on those special interest groups and taking on the spending problems and corruption problems in Springfield. So it's an honor for me to introduce her. I'll let her speak for a few minutes, and then afterwards we'll take some questions and answers and talk deep on some issues. Evelyn?
Thank you. What a pleasure, what a great honor to be on this mission alongside Bruce Rauner, taking back Illinois, getting back our government. And it is truly an honor. I thank you immensely for that, Bruce. I don't know what you folks in the press were expecting, but most definitely a 4'11" Latina with 3 small children and an Italian last name is not what the career politicians in Springfield had in mind. I can certainly bet you that. But as Bruce has always maintained, el cambio está en el camino. Change is on its way. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in a small city off of Miami, Florida. It's called Hialeah. My mother is a Cuban refugee. She came from Fidel Castro's regime, and as you folks know, Cuba is a place where people are oftentimes chased and harassed. There's no rule of law, no free market, no freedom, period. My dad is an immigrant from Ecuador, Ecuador being one of the poorest countries in the world. His family came to the States for a better way of life. For my parents, America was a final last hope. My parents were teenagers when they had me, and we were children having children, so we clearly struggled. We were all growing up, and we were always one step ahead of the landlord. That said, we stayed together. I remember my mother, when I was a child, collecting food stamps so that we could have enough to eat, and me receiving private lunches in the school system. I also could tell you that my first experience in grade school was not your generic experience being from the neighborhoods that I was in. I was disinterested, uninspired, and so were my teachers. And because of that, I failed the first grade. The lights in my life did not turn on until I was given the opportunity to succeed at the New World School of the Arts. It's a magnet school. I auditioned, got in, and those teachers actually taught me how to play the piano like a true concert artist should. Those teachers inspired me, and therefore I succeeded. I could tell you today that this is something that Bruce and I have an incredible passion for, and it's restoring education in Illinois. It was this school that gave me the opportunity to succeed, and it was the competition and the great skills I learned in New World to take it on through life and get a full scholarship at a university, and then into law school at the John Marshall Law School, where I now have the privilege of teaching classes even still today. After that, I also became an assistant attorney general under Jim Ryan, and I served him for many years. I first started off prosecuting employers who didn't feel it was good to pay its employees minimum wages. I then handled many federal cases. I handled cases in the area of workplace harassment, workplace harassment, and also handled cases involving the Americans with Disabilities Act. I then went into the private sector doing a lot of the same, still representing units of local government, police, and fire, among others. I never thought life would take me through politics, except that life always has a funny way of changing, doesn't it? It does. I ran as councilman in the city of Wheaton. Wheaton is a town in DuPage County, a city in DuPage County. We have about 54,000 residents. And my mission, or my theory of government when I was running, is to keep government lean. Government is in the business of governance. That is, good roads, sound sidewalks, great police and fire, creating the sort of environment that businesses want to move into. And also, we got out of the way. We didn't over-regulate businesses. And because of that, Wheaton is living the golden age today. We're booming with incoming businesses. So it's been great serving the city of Wheaton, and I would continue doing that today. I can tell you, Illinois is a great place to live. I've lived here for many years now. And my husband and I have moved to DuPage County to raise our family. We have 3 children. Illinois is great for a lot of families, but it's not that way for every family, not even close. I can tell you from personal experience that I received aid. I was part of that safety net, and the safety net saved me as a child. But what Bruce and I are here to tell you today is that Illinois is more than a safety net. Okay, we have to create an environment of good jobs and sound schools so that people could be their best and get out of this safety net and be successful on their own. This is the America that I lived in. This is the opportunity. These are the opportunities that I had. And you know what? This is the America that hundreds of thousands of Illinoisans could live into. I speak to you today as a mother of 3, as a concerned citizen who loves her state and country. And we could honestly say that Illinois is broken, but Illinois is not dead. We could bring it back. If we work hard, if we persevere, anything is possible. I am living proof of that. Bruce is the only one that could bring this forward. When I met him, I was elated because in a place where we see governor after governor going to prison, this gentleman here is the only one that has no ties to any special interests and therefore owes no one a thing. Okay? Our economy is in the gutter. Bruce Rauner has the business acumen to get us out of this mess. And in a place where the special interests are taking over the minds of so many of our decision makers, Bruce Rauner is the only individual willing to speak truth to these people and that power. And in a state where so many of our schools are failing us, Bruce Rauner has been the only one to dedicate a good part of his life to school reform and has actually saved many, many children. Coming out of neighborhoods a lot like the neighborhoods I grew up in. So it is with great honor and pleasure that I accept running alongside Bruce Rauner. We're here. We're not scared of anyone. We have no ties to special interests. We do not owe anyone anything. And you know what? In this climate, that's a breath of fresh air. We're ready. Vamos a sacudir a Springfield y traer de vuelta a Illinois. Let's shake up Springfield and bring back Illinois, folks. Thank you.
So questions of Evelyn or myself?
Bruce, in talking about a business and being a business-friendly climate, I'm sure you know that ADM wants basically $20 million in incentive not to move its corporate headquarters out of state. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the most important single thing we can do is transform the entire business climate. Rather than getting stuck into this round robin where we're negotiating one-on-one to give a special deal to every company, we need to move away from that and become a state with a level playing field for all businesses, lower taxes, less regulation. Workers' comp needs to be transformed here. The litigation system needs to be transformed here. Our unemployment insurance costs are too high. our environmental regulations, our labor regulations are hostile to business. We need to become a pro-business state again, rather than getting stuck in this rut of going to business after business and negotiating a special deal. That's essential to get out of that mode and to become a growth state again. We have the second highest unemployment rate in America. We have the worst unemployment rate in the Midwest, and it's outrageous. We have worse unemployment than Michigan. And the reality is, we are a great state. We have great people, we have great infrastructure, we have the location that businesses want to be in, but our taxes and our regulatory climate is hostile, and many of them are leaving. We have to transform that as our first and top priority before we get further down the road with these special deals. Other questions?
May I ask you to hold this for me?
Oh, sure.
You want? I'm just here.
Is it all possible?
Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry we don't have a
Can I
little.
hold those for you?
Well, we can. I'll pass them back and forth.
Okay,
Hold
that's
like this, is
fine,
that all
that's
right?
fine.
I guess my question to you, I mean, you're one of 4 that are running for the GOP side. Everyone talks about wanting to shake things up, wanting to do something different than the past governors. What would your top priority be on this?
Well, you know, we have been failed as a state by our governors for at least a dozen years. We've had folks who are part of that corrupt culture in Springfield. Springfield has a culture of failure. We don't get things done in Springfield. Springfield is controlled by special interest groups that make their money from the government. They've bought most of the Democrats in Springfield with political donations and campaign workers. And unfortunately for us, those special interest groups have bought many of the Republicans in Springfield too. That's the tragedy of our state. We're coming in, Evelyn and I are coming in fresh, as independent thinkers, as outsiders, and we can take on those special interest groups. And we're running to accomplish 4 things. Our priority is 4 things for the state. Booming economy, creating jobs, priority 1. Number 2, making our government the most efficient, effective, transparent state government in America so we can lower the tax burden and reduce spending. 3 is world-class schools in every school district and making education the top priority for Illinois. And then 4th is term limits. We believe, Evelyn and I strongly believe, that politicians in Springfield should become public servants again, stop staying in office in the same role for decades, making money from political power and political position. We should all serve our government for 8 years and then leave office. And that's why we're running on term limits. And we're going to get that on the ballot next year in 2014 so that everyone in the legislature is going to serve for 8 years and then leave office and not come back to the same position. And we, in our positions, she as lieutenant governor, I as governor, will only serve for 8 years and then we will leave office as well. George Washington set that standard when he was our founding president, 8 years and out, as voluntary, and we want to do the same thing and get that same philosophy here in Springfield.
Evelyn, Illinois has a history of lieutenant governors ending up as governor, and I'm not suggesting that's going to happen again necessarily, but what is it about you, or what is it that qualifies you to be the governor if indeed you would have to step into that role?
Thank you, and that's a very good question. First of all, I served at the Illinois Attorney General's office advising many units of government. I later went into private practice, doing a lot of the same, so my relationships with government and knowing the way government works has been sound throughout the years. Not only am I an attorney that has advised government, I am also an adjunct professor of law at the John Marshall Law School, and I could send my message to all walks of life. When I became an adjunct professor, I also took on the role of running and winning and becoming a councilman in the city of Wheaton. Right now, I am a councilman to 54,000 residents, and I've enjoyed my job doing that. All of this makes me absolutely qualified, but more so than anything, I am a mother, and I am a working woman who is very concerned about a state that I love very much. And because of that, I am fully qualified and ready to serve now and over the next couple of years. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I guess the only other thing I would have, you're campaigning right now, obviously in the middle of a shutdown. What do you have to say to pretty much everyone involved, lawmakers, Congress? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say 2 things about the shutdown in Washington. Number 1, spending in government is out of control. Our federal government spending is out of control. Our state government spending is out of control. We need to reduce the spending. But we've got to do it by working together to find common solutions. We have a failure of leadership in Washington. We have a failure of leadership in Springfield. Evelyn and I are leaders. We're going to find common ground. I'm going to move to Springfield if I become governor, and I will be living with our legislature every day they're in session. I'll be sitting with the legislators, talking about our problems, talking about strategy and tactics to get bills passed. How can we reduce spending? How can we get legislation accomplished to really make the government succeed again and make it run for the voters? I'm excited to go to work so we don't get into this mode of failing government, intractable problems, no accomplishments in government, and too much spending. We've got to find common ground, reduce the spending, and bring back our government so it's run for the benefit of all of us.
It doesn't seem like we're getting much progress on pension reform. I know the committee's still studying it. We're supposed to see something. Do you have any more thoughts on that since your last visit here?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm very concerned about the pension situation. The sad fact is this pension committee's been meeting on pension reform. I don't think they're making much progress. None of the proposals on the table go far enough to really fix the problem, and all the proposals include language that makes the pension payments contractually obligated and funded at a level that the actual tables require. So payments will be higher, and they'll be senior to health care, senior to education, senior to public safety, and that's wrong. Everyone on the pension system board in the legislature, unfortunately, has taken, as far as I can tell, virtually all of them have taken contributions from the government union bosses. All of them are in a very generous pension system as part of the state legislators' pension system. It's all part of that same corrupt, broken system. So they're all sitting there more or less in a conflict of interest position. My view is I'm coming in fresh as an outsider, and I'm going to get things done for the benefit of all the citizens and the taxpayers. To fix our pensions, we need to do two things. We need to end the current system, freeze it. Don't take away what was honestly accrued, but freeze it, don't continue it on, prosecute the corruption that's in it, because there is corruption in the existing pension. But then from this day going forward, have our existing workers and future workers get a defined contribution plan, more of a 401k going forward. That's affordable and fair, that's what most voters in the state have, and then over time we can dig out of that historical hole that's come in the defined benefit plan.
I know the economy is probably the biggest issue in the state of Illinois, but the social issues will come up in the next couple of years. Certainly, I mean, if you're the governor, you're going to have to deal with them. So where are each of you on gay marriage? Where are each of you on the abortion issue?
Okay. On gay marriage question, I've said all along, I firmly believe it's an issue that should be decided directly by the voters. I don't think politicians should have that institution put on the voters if they don't want it. And I don't think the politicians should block it from the voters if they want to accept it. It should be done in a referendum, and really exclusively in a referendum. On the question of abortion, I support a woman's ability to choose. I believe in some common sense regulations and restrictions so that it's rare and safe, but I support a woman's ability to decide. Evelyn?
On the issue of life, I must say my mother chose me, and she had me at age 15 when she was a recent immigrant to America, and it would have been easy to choose not to have me. So for this reason, I am pro-life. I am also for the definition of marriage as a traditional definition. That said, I respect Bruce's wanting to head it over to referendum, but while we are apart as far as social issues, I want to bring all of you back to the big picture, which is Illinois is broken, and only Bruce and I could fix it. And it's a bigger question that's common to us all. We're paying too much in taxes. We have a huge pension crisis. We have issues with transparency in our government, and we have a broken education system in many parts of Illinois. And only we could actually step in as outsiders and take care of that overlying problem that affects us all.
We have time for one more question.